missed it, we've been broadcasting live pictures as missiles are launched over Tel Aviv. And if you've missed it, here are some of those missiles. We know there's been a lot of action in and out of Tel Aviv in recent days in the skies. There with some of that missile action, the Iron Dome also in force as it seeks to defend that country under threat from retaliation from Iran. We'll have more on that shortly.
Yeah, retaliation from Iran. Yeah, that's true. So they struck back with a missile attack, just like they said they would. That's what you see here. Iran strikes Israel. A new missile attack. This is from Sky News Australia. This happened about 36 minutes ago. This was posted. And they said they were going to do it, and they did it. This is in response to Israel striking them with a missile strike, killing their top general being Hussein Salami. He was an elite commander over there. And they killed him. So like, yeah, we're going to retaliate. And they did it. This reminds me of 2nd Ezra's, the 15th chapter, and the 28th verse on down, going into the dragons of Arabia and the Carmanians, going back to their old nature. And they're going to do it, man. And this shows that if your hand is on me, yeah, I'm going to retaliate and put my hand on you. And that's what they're doing. And this is going to lead to the third woe, World War III. Revelation 11 and 14. The second woe is past, but the third woe cometh quickly. That's what this is ultimately going to lead to. And that war is going to take part in the valley of Yehoshaphat. And that's in the Middle East. Right? And that's where the dragons of Arabia and the Carmanians dwell, in the Middle East. So it makes sense. Hey, the stage is set. The stage is set, guys. Now, I just want to give all praises, glory, and honor due unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone of GMS, that do rule well and that do teach well and that have taught me this truth. To you I say Shalom, and Shalom unto the hopeful elect, and also Shalom to the nation of Israel and the hopeful elect. Because it's all about the elect. I got to say that. Got to emphasize that. It's all about the elect. The Lord is coming back for you, the elect only. All right, so I'm going to start off with this scripture here. This is 2nd Ezra, chapter 15, verse 28. Behold, an horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east, where the nations of the dragon of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. Yeah, they're going to unite military-wise. Our forces are going to join together, and they're going to come up against the Assyrian. The modern-day Assyrian today is America. They're going to come up against you. Verse 30, also the Carmanians, raging in wrath, shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. This is true. So they're going to join forces with the dragons of Arabia. Makes sense. And you know, it's a well-known fact that Iran, the Carmanians, which are the Persians. So when you know that Iran, the Iranians today, they're Persians. Yeah, Iran is Persia, because they got that name change going back, I believe it was the 30s. I think it was 1935. They changed their name from Persia to Iran. So the original Persians are the Carmanians. That's another name for them. It's another name. But yes, it's a well-known fact. Iran, they have missile cities, and they have nuclear capabilities. They have nuclear facilities as well. But they have missile cities, and they're going to use them. They're going to shoot their missiles on Syria and these different nations, but mainly America, okay, because that's what this is going into. But you see that, man, they got missiles. They got missiles, and soon it's going to go nuclear. So they struck back. They created a missile strike to attack their enemies. So right off the bat, man, this reminds me of their nature, which it's going to go into. Now it says, verse 31, and then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature. There you go, their nature. You oppress me, I'm going to oppress you. And I'm going to bring the pain tenfold. And that's how they're thinking. Man, look at how these Ishmaelites get down. Because that nature is found in Genesis, the 16th chapter, and the 12th verse. Let me see if I can pull that up. Because that's how Ishmael is. He's really a wild man. That's his true nature. This is Genesis chapter 16, verse 12 here. And it says, actually I'll start at verse 11. It says, and the angel of Yahweh said unto her, behold, thou art with child. Yeah, this is Keturah, Abraham's concubine. Right, concubine. And his firstborn son was Ishmael. But he's not of the chosen. Isaac was. Isaac's of the chosen. And the blessing goes through him. The promise, right? So it says, behold, thou art with child, and shall bear a son, and shall call his name Ishmael, because Yahweh hath heard thy affliction. And he will be a wild man. His hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him. And he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren. So he's going to live in open hostility towards his neighbors, man. Okay. That's right. That's it. And he's going to experience hostility, and he's going to bring forth hostility towards his neighbors. That's what he's going to do. And you're seeing that. In my 33 years of being on this earth, I never heard of peace being in the Middle East. And there's been no peace where Ishmael dwells. There's always been wars. Ever since I was born, I've been on this planet for 33 years, and I've never seen true peace in the Middle East. Never. Man, you had, yeah, man, it's always been war, fighting. They're always going back and forth with Israel. They fight among each other. It's messed up, man. So that's showing you this man's a wild man, and this is just who he is. And also, they're worse when they get religious, especially them Shiite Muslims. Man, they'll die for their God. They're the type of people that will strap a bomb to their chest and go into a public setting where lots of people are and blow themselves up and the people around them in the name of their God. They're the type of people, when they get religious, they beat themselves. They beat themselves to the point where they shed blood, man. So this guy's a wild man. You know, when you're wild, it just simply means you're untamed. When you look up the word wild, when you go into the etymology of it, it means uncontrollable, wild, untamed. That's how they are. They're just wild, dude. Can't tame them. They're like a ticking time bomb, right? So that's how these Ishmaelites are. Now, let's go back to the precept here, verse 31. It says, and then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature, and if they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in great power to persecute them, then these shall be troubled, bled, and keep silence through their power, and shall flee. And from the land of the Assyrians shall the enemy besiege them, and consume some of them. In their host shall be fear and dread, and strife among their kings. Yeah, man. Especially the Ishmaelites that you have over here. I'm gonna just say, man, you got something called insurgents. You got insurgents. You got sleeper cells. Yeah, that's the correct term. Sleeper cells. You got sleeper cells over there in America. And the sleeper cells being the agents that are from these other nations, just living in America, and they're just waiting to get turned on. They're just waiting for that call. A good movie to watch is Jason Bourne, The Bourne Identity, going into Treadstone, because that's the organization that Jason Bourne was from, and he was pretty much like a sleeper cell, man. They just one phone call he gets, the phone call, and then he's out there doing hits. That's what they got over here, man. Them different nations, they operate like that too. And these people are programmed. They're under MK Ultra and things of that nature. So yeah, they're very dangerous, the Ishmaelites. Very dangerous, man. And they hate America too. They hate America. Can't wait to see this place be destroyed. And they're thinking about that every day. Every day, man. Anyways, man, let me just move on here. Verse 34, behold, clouds from the east and from the north unto the south, and they are very horrible to look upon, full of wrath and storm. They shall smite one upon another, and they shall smite down a great multitude of stars upon the earth, even their own star, and blood shall be from the sword unto the belly, and dung of men unto the camel's hoof. That's true. And them stars that it's talking about, you can get a better understanding if you go into Revelation, the 6th chapter. That's going into the missiles. And they're going to shoot missiles, nuclear missiles, on this place, and it's going to drop and destroy. And that's why it says, and dung of men onto the camels. So a lot of dead bodies. A lot of people are going to die. Verse 37, and there shall be great fearfulness and trembling upon earth, and they that see the wrath shall be afraid, and trembling shall come upon them. Yeah, because this war is not going to be your traditional war. It's going into so-called modern warfare. Modern warfare being, machines, war machines, and nuclear weapons, drones, and things of that nature. And they're not really fair, and they're not really afraid. I'm talking about America. They're not really afraid of troops on the ground or boots on the ground, so to speak. They're more afraid of the nuclear destruction, because nuclear destruction is very catastrophic, because it brings forth all types of problems, man, especially pollution, nuclear radiation, and things of that nature. But yeah, a lot of people are going to die. Now, hold on, let me get a precept for the stars. This is Revelation chapter 6. I think I'm going to start at verse 13. It says here, and the stars of heaven fell onto the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs, when she is shaken of a mighty wind. Yeah, a mighty wind is that destroying wind. Nuclear wind, man, that's what it is. Now it says, and the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. See? Yeah, nuclear destruction is very, very catastrophic. Not only destroys things, but it pollutes the earth. Man, and look at these islands. These islands are going to be washed away and totally destroyed. You're going to have to rewrite the maps after this destruction. It's going to change the geography of the earth, man. That's messed up. That's messed up. Verse 15, and the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains. Yeah, and they went into their bunkers or their space stations. Yeah. Because remember, they got underground cities too. I think I brought that out in a previous lesson I posted on this channel. They spent $21 trillion to build underground cities. That pertains to America. I don't know what they have over here in Canada, but that's where your tax money is going. That's why you're taxed so heavily. Your money your own money, taxpayers' dollar, the taxpayers' dollar is going into building these luxury underground cities for the elites. The average person, they're not going to take part in being saved and being put into those bunkers. It's really for the elites. Hey man, that's why your roads never get fixed. That's why nothing improves. That's why the infrastructure in Babylon is so dilapidated, because the money isn't going into those things. It's going into the elites building their underground cities. $21 trillion. You know how much money that is? $21 trillion over the course of 20 years, I believe. Because that's when they started. 20 years. That's serious, man. So that's where your money is going. That's why the infrastructure in America is at a D rating, man. A D plus rating, I believe. I think it's a D plus rating or D minus or whatever, man. Infrastructure is dilapidated. The bridges are not getting fixed. The roads are not getting fixed. Just little patch jobs here and there. Nothing's improved. So that's where your money is going. But anyways, man, I hope this was edifying. Until next time, just want to give all praises, glory, and honor due unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone of GMS that do rule well and that do teach well, that have taught me this truth. To you I say shalom, and shalom unto the hopeful elect, Kwame Ashala and Abad Bubal.